This is the audio recording for the economic system of India. And as usual, I will be saying next slide anytime we're about to change slides. So let's get into it. Next slide. Mixed. India has a mixed economic system that is about 53% free and 47% command. When India gained independence in 1947, its government set up a command economy and controlled all industries and production. Since the early 1990s, the government loosened some of its control and has allowed private businesses to participate in the economy. Next slide. Freedom. Over the past 30 years, India's national government has let more and more citizens and private corporations take over industries that it used to own. Private businesses now have the ability to decide how much of a good to produce and to set their own prices. In addition, in order to promote entrepreneurship, the government provides support to new business owners with training, facilities, and loans to get started. Next slide. This is a picture of a clothes. It says small scale garment factory in India. That's basically they're making clothes and things like that. Definitely small scale. There are places in India still where you'll have the massive rooms where people are working together and not the best conditions a lot of times. This actually looks fairly comfortable. But there are definitely still places in India where you would have what you would call a sweatshop. Where it's very poor working conditions and things like that. But when you have as many poor people as India does, and you do what you can to support your family and things like that, you work where you can. So, next slide. Growth. Since the government has loosened its control, India's economy has been growing rapidly and is now ranked as the 7th largest economy in the world. Because of its large, educated population, India has developed prosperous information technology and software service industries. Unfortunately, although the transition from a command to a more market system has been good for India's economy, millions of Indians still live in poverty. Next slide. This is basically like learning how to work on manufacturing and things like that. This is doing engine diagnostics. Things. So these guys are learning how to, analyze what's going on with an engine and to be able to identify what's going on with it to fix it and things like that. So definitely, high-end educational resources there for a high-tech world. Next slide. Regulation. India's government is still very active in its economy. The government imposes high taxes on private businesses, subsidies on goods in the private sector, and tariffs on imported goods. A number of industries are state-run, while the government is partially involved in others. Strict government regulations make economic growth difficult. Next slide.